Yes, yeah. Look at these ancient rock carvings. Yes. Arizona's early inhabitants. Oh, oh, on newspaper rock and Petrified Forest National Park have never been translated. Somehow I have a difficult time believing that. Now, exactly what was it about Arizona that I didn't know? Well, let's see. Spanish exploration during the 1530s. About the great wealth of the seven cities of Cibola. And then the Spanish authorities. Oh. And then in northern New Mexico, the early days, Indians lived in Arizona for at least 12,000 years. That seems like a long time, doesn't it? The Mongolon lived in what are now East Navajo Indians moved to Arizona. The Apaches. Now there was what was that? Something about a spring. Was there a location, a time shifted location, where if you did know, and maybe your little giant did, I don't know, that there's this, well, it says it's mythological, but when you're able to time shift Earth, when you're able to do that, yes, and you can hide satellites above Arizona, right? And you have that mountain range where it's a kind of a mystical experience. Could you get me not only the barometric readings, but the actual magnetism of the state of Arizona? I'd like to know if there's any structures in that state that have a certain magnetic appeal to those that are the ancestors of 12,000 years of Indians, where there was some sort of water source that was the eternal life water source. Now, the expedition found neither gold nor silver and returned to Mexico disappointed. Is that really what happened? They didn't find anything. There's no gold or nobody was able to interpret what this says. No one is. Oh, the well of everlasting life. There, well, I've seen some stories about it where there was this expedition that went on in the Mexico, Arizona area where there was you could step from one place to another. I guess there's something more than Eden out there, isn't there? Now, let's say you were in the family of those from Eden. Yes. And you've been looking for the Ark of the Covenant, Nazis. And King Solomon started permanently in his temple in Jerusalem. Yes. Was destroyed by a conquering army. The temple, in, well, I'm sure that somebody went looking for a certain water source that if you were to drink it, you could have everlasting life. Now, for all of those that have spent some time in Eden and you had that sexual experience with one of the family members, and you decide to spend 1,000 years discussing all the. Is there a fish that went looking from, oh, Gil the Mean, Steve the Mean, and then there's Dick Cheney the Mean? Dick. Could you, well, since we're talking super top secret family approach, and you know how fish are attracted to water, what fish wouldn't want to find the they did. They went looking for the Ark of the Covenant. We've all seen the Indiana Jones, where if you had the Ark, it was something to talk about. But considering how fish are attracted to water, yes, there's no possible way that. Oh, look at the largest federal trout hatchery in the United States is the Norfolk National Fish Hatchery in Mountain Home. Wouldn't it be nice to live in Mountain Home? You go home and you say, well, where do you live at? I live in Mountain Home. And then you're like, no, where do you live? I live at Mountain Home. No, I didn't ask what. It's kind of a dumb joke, but when you think of fish and hatcheries, could you get me every hatchery everywhere in the world? I'm just wanting to know, is there any fish that wanted to give everlasting life to all those trout that are, let's say, you happen to be in the family and your great love is fish. And you thought, well, give me every hatchery. Yes. And then if we could give every actual fish the spring of everlasting life that they went looking for, someplace in Arizona, Mexico, someplace like that, the Spaniards were looking for it. Is there any possibility that somebody is so attached to fish that they just wanted them to have everlasting life? And if they had that special water, no, really. Okay. I understand how the family thinks, and in their mind, you can never harm a fish. Could you could you get 2 million trout from eggs until they are about 9 inches? Yeah. Could you get me all the employees of every hatchery? Are all of them actual persons, or are they of the family? And